Okay, it looks like we're live, and welcome to today's segment of the Third Testament Foundation Introduction to the Martinus Spiritual Science. And today I haven't really thought about what we should be, what today's topic should be. So I was thinking about maybe talking a little bit about this one, which is found in Martinus' book entitled The Ideal Food. So he had a whole book made, or wrote a whole book about the different types of food and its vibration and what the effect is on human beings. So if we try to go a little more into the details of this symbol, and then we can open up for questions. You're also welcome to email your questions, so we can. So I have some questions before I start. So you basically decide what we're going to be talking about. So if we see on the right side of the symbol, there are three suns, and they're like an orange sun, uh, light orange sun or dark yellow sun, and a yellow sun. So these three symbolize the evolutionary stages or life force that the food has on these different levels. Basically, we have food for predators on the bottom, and food for humans in the middle, and food for humans in the true human kingdom on the top, yellow. So right now we are humans. We are terrestrial humans, according to Montanus, and we are situated in a transition between the animal kingdom and the real human kingdom. And the animal kingdom, Martinus uses the color, symbolically the color orange, denoting the killing principle, and for the real human kingdom he uses the yellow color, denoting feeling energy or love energy. So, and we humans are kind of in between these two kingdoms in a transitional evolutionary stage. So the food that we should be eating should also kind of be in resonance with this evolutionary stage that we're on. So that means that we should be eating food from this middle stage, the transitional stage, where we can see there are both orange and yellow colors there. So what is the food here? Well, the food here is, you see this yellow zigzaggedy line? That is plants, plant-based diet. That could be the roots, could be the stems, the leaves of all parts of the plant. And then we have the blue one, a little higher frequency, and that is nuts, the seeds of the plants. So, but eventually when we reach the evolutionary stage of the true human kingdom, or the real human kingdom, we see this fine blue vibration, and that is basically fruit. The ripe fruits, only the ripe fruits and air. So, how can air be a food, you may ask? Well, basically we all breathe air, and if we didn't have air, we would not survive for very long. So air is the most important nutrition that we have. Without it, we maybe some people can last for 3 minutes, but most people can't last more than 1 minute without air. Then they start gasping, right? So air is a very, very essential uh, element in our diet. So even though we don't really think of air as a part of our diet, we do know that we have fresh air. If we go along the ocean, there's fresh air in the forest, and in the springtime when we have all the flowers and stuff, there's a different type of air compared to air that's inside a capital city, or with a lot of pollution, or if we drive in behind a car that has a diesel exhaust. And we know that there's a difference in the quality of the air that we're breathing. So air is very important, as well as clean water, of course. But if we see at the bottom here, the bottom stage of the food, the beings that thrive with the food on the bottom here, with this all orange, is predators. So the beings in the animal kingdom as predators, they are designed to eat the bodies of other animals, and that is symbolized by these very low frequency orange jaggedy lines here with the red stuff in between. So this is the killing principle in the food. What what it takes for an being in this evolutionary stage, such as a tiger or a lion and so forth, it takes a lot of stomach acid to break down this food, because the food consists of life units, and life units are living beings that we need to get into the white triangle of that, the purple white triangle area, which is what Martinez calls solar substance, which is the actual nutrition that we get from digesting this matter that is food, right? So what we can see on the bottom here, there's a lot of green and yellow and red around this uh, uh, solar substance what we need to get into that sustains us as nutrition. So what that means is, if we look up here in this other uh, here, we can kind of see that this is the bottom of the flesh, right? Animal flesh, a dead animal as a predator. The matter has a lot of these green and yellow things. So that means that a very evolved life units are living in this matter. So in order for us to get into the actual nutrition, we need to break down all those life units, and that is this stomach acid that is very, very acid, that can break down all these yellow and green things so we can absorb the nutrition, which is at the center of this life unit. We humans are actually not designed to do that, because our stomach acid is not that strong. So we don't have the actual system of breaking down these life units. So that's why we see that up here we should eat life units or matter that has life units that have this orange and yellow vibration, so we don't have to break down all these layers of green and yellow very evolved life units, but we only have this tiny little instinct energy to break down in order for us to get to the solar substance. So Martinez says that, well, actually plants and nuts and fruits basically is just stored up solar energy that if we were really like living like breatharians, and we would be able to actually just absorb the nutrition out of the sun. but we're not really there evolutionary yet to be able to do that. So we need to be able to give the nutrition that our body needs, and so we can survive, and so the body can function optimally. We see how these life units here don't have as much or don't have any yellow and green, which means that it's very easy to for the body, for our stomach, to break down this plant matter, and even more so if we boil it, right? We know it's very easy to eat a boiled potato compared to a raw potato, for example. And that's because we're breaking down some of these life units, so it's much more easy to digest for our digestive system, especially the stomach acid is not as evolved in human beings as it is in predators, so we need to eat food that is easily digestible, and that means boiling it and our roasting and heating up a little bit. And nuts too. Here we can see here plant matter and nuts. This vibration is also a little higher in vibration, that is fits this evolutionary states that we are on. So it becomes a good match for our bodies to eat plant-based and nuts. Plant-based, I mean, you see the roots, stems, and leaves of plants, and the nuts here, a little higher frequency of the nuts, and then of course the fruits has a even more higher frequency. And Martinez actually tells us that in the future, it's the human beings in the real human kingdom will uh, exclusively be living on the fruits, the fruit flesh of the ripest fruits, and 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 eventually we'll all be breatharians, so we don't need any matter into our system at all, because our bodies will be so refined that all we need is the air that we breathe. So this is the going into the future, and and but important for us now is that we are here in this evolutionary stage. So it's important that we can sustain our bodies, and that means not just fasting and living on air. Of course, we need the clean air and clean water, but our bodies also need this food that the digestive system is at a certain evolutionary stage, so the digestive system needs to have something to work to actually kill in its digestive process. So that's why we have to uh, give our digestive system something to work with, that it can break down and stuff, and out of that process we also get the life energy that we need to sustain the body. And yeah, there is some other things about the digestive system, like the digestive system, stomach and intestines and gallbladder and all the parts of the digestive system is actually culminating in the gravity energy, or the killing principle, which is symbolized by the orange, right? So the microbeing that is the digestive system actually is the strongest energy of the six relative strengths of the basic energies is the orange, and then we have the uh, other energies present as well. So this digestive system really needs something to work with. So it's important that we give it something to work with. Of course, you can experiment with fasting here and there, but I wouldn't do a prolonged period of fasting unless that you have a very evolved digestive system and are able to live without food. But just because you're able to live without food doesn't mean that you're evolved spiritually, or that your evolutionary stages are. It's something to do with the capacity or the talents of your digestive systems. So it's not one size fit all. It's just, you have to kind of know yourself and your limits. But definitely, we're not designed as human beings to be eating meat or the corpses of dead animals. That is a predatory stage here in the animal kingdom, and we are um, far outgrown that stage. And it's actually we don't have the digestive capabilities of breaking down all these very evolved life units that exist in the fibers of the flesh of dead animals. So that is one thing to be keeping in mind. If you want to help your digestive system, feed it plant-based diet, nuts, fruits, and of course uh, exercise and light out and fresh air, and get plenty of sunshine and clean water. And then you should be taking good care of your physical body. And your physical body is actually the neighbor that is closest to you. It's that neighbor that you can love by uh, giving it the things that it needs to stay healthy, right? So your physical body is the neighbor that is closest to you. So you can always start with your physical body and treat your physical body the way you want it to be treated. So that being said, I think we're pretty much through this symbol. And if you have questions about the symbols, you can read more about it in the book, uh, The Ideal Food by Martinez. And let me just say this for the record: all symbols are copyright of Martinez Institute. And I hope to see you on the next live stream, and take care.